ma'am. My name is Rachna, and I am an academic evangelist with Next Education India Private Limited. That's a company based out of Hyderabad. And I have come from Chandigarh. That's my base location. I work from there. This morning, I am going to contribute a little bit towards this topic, that is gender sensitization in schools. And what best to have the audience as students here who are going to take this baton ahead, right? I do not like when I'm limited to this place. Nevertheless, gender sensitization in schools. First of all, why we talk about gender sensitization. This happens when we are not empathetic about our own genders and the roles that we have within that particular aspect of life that we are here for. Gender sensitization means instilling an empathetic view of the roles that we have within the gender form that we have been here on this earth. In the schools, why now? What is the correlation? The schools, because this is the place where the structured education begins for a child. And this is the place where each and every individual becomes, or the thought process per se, strengthens about the roles that he or she has to take up in the coming future. I would like to share one handout with all of you, and any of you can just come ahead and read this for me, any one of you. Yes, please. This is what he's going to read.
नाम आकाश शर्मा, कक्षा तीसरा, विषय निबंध। रोज सुबह होता है, सूरज के साथ रोशनी होती है, हवा। रोज सुबह सूरज के साथ रोशनी होता है, हवा
ठंडा ठंडा
ठंडा ठंडा चलता है, चारों तरफ हरियाला रहता है, नदी बहुत अच्छा लगता है, आसमान में चिड़िया उड़ता है, ऐसा हर रोज सुबह होता है।
Thank you so much. Right. So I'll read it again for all of you. रोज सुबह होता है, सूरज के साथ रोशनी होता है, हवा ठंडा ठंडा चलता है, चारों तरफ हरियाला रहता है, नदी बहुत अच्छा लगता है, आसमान में चिड़िया उड़ता है, ऐसा हर रोज सुबह होता है। What would it be if the entire earth is either male or female driven? Our life is going to be very, very monotonous. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the first step towards gender sensitization. That is gender equality. In the school specifically, when we begin our first day, there are lines formed in the hallway. Girls, boys. And that is where we begin with inequality. In the classrooms, when there is a seating arrangement, boys, girls, this is your row, this is their row. The inequality begins. The schools hold a great responsibility while we are selecting any particular curriculum. You know the example in a book where a mother is shown cooking and a father is supposed to have a career. The gender inequality begins there. We somehow sent a message to these sensitive minds that, look girls, your role is confined to the four walls of the house. And look boys, you have to go out and you have to earn. I am handling a project these days in one of the schools. I travel across the country. So I travel to a variety of schools. When I say variety of schools, that is, we have segregated per se the schools where people are very, very aware, people are little aware, where people are aware but they really do not want to see the real picture, and where people are completely unaware. So in this particular school, I am supporting the school for admissions, etc. And during this process, we were calling and speaking to many parents. The first thing that I saw, that in a classroom, the boys versus girls ratio was very, very less. And during this calling to the parents, I got to know that a boy can study in an expensive school, but girls cannot. Because one day, this is all going to be useless. I was shocked. I stay in a metro city, and talking to the parents, this was a different kind of revelations. Are we in the 21st century? Are we at a place, living in a world where girls are deprived of education because they think that this is going to be useless for them? The parents do not want to spend so much of money. And we began with a girl child scheme wherein we offered a waiver of lots of charges. In spite of this, it was so difficult to change the opinion of the parents. And I had a tough time counseling the parents and letting them understand that your girls, today if they are educated, they are aware, they can create a lot of difference in this world, and this is what they are here for. So this was one thing. Another thing that I got to, while I was discussing this with my daughter, she said, government has even started the scheme of giving bicycles to the girls so that the attendance is maintained. Nevertheless, doing a lot of things here, I feel again, when we are sending this message, we are talking about it, there is somewhere a lot of gap. And this gap needs to be lessened down first of all. That is about inequality. That is the first step towards gender sensitization. And the next step is inclusive environment. Creating the environment in the schools where the girls too can be given heavy physical tasks. Why only boys? Giving such tasks to the girls in which they can perform, if we just directly or indirectly we are sending a message through this particular thing that girls cannot do this and boys can do it. We are sending this message knowingly or unknowingly. So the company with which I'm working, when we were making this curriculum, we have made or taken up illustrations and examples where a woman has a career and man is shown cooking in the kitchen, wherein the boys and the girls get sensitized that their roles are not confined to the so-called stereotype of the genders that this world has made. I remember when I was a child, we had a period called SUPW. I don't know how many of you, because it's now 2 or 3 generations ahead, showing how old I have got. But when this period was allotted to us, all the girls did was go for sewing or crafts, and the boys took up some sport. Or we were made to clean. I was in a convent school, so we were made to clean the ground, because this was very much that girls did. They cleaned their houses, right? And the boys, they carried some or the other task. Maybe we needed something, so they brought something for us, etc., etc. So this, again, inequality. The message was sent, we are supposed to do this. And the boys are supposed to do this. So somewhere the curriculum per se was responsible for it. My generation took a lot of time to come out of that mode and then take up this cause, because we have born there so we can really be empathetic about it. We can feel the pain of others who are bearing the same pain, because it feels that when we have gone through something, we can feel better what the other person would be feeling. And this is where the school's roles come. Right from the moment they enter the premises of the school, they need to be exposed to certain activities where we really don't talk about this is the girls' thing and this is the boys' thing. Boys cannot cry, girls can cry. When in the school, the appreciation was given to girls about a lot of things that they did, because we felt that girls are very well behaved and many times the boys can behave a little awkward. So this sent a message wherein again the inequality came. So we also had a session once where the boys made sandwiches for the girls and the girls tied the turban. It was pretty okay. They enjoyed these sessions that day, and they realized, because it is very, very important for the other genders to step in the shoes of the others and see how it feels like. We have been on this earth for some purpose, and our genders should not confine us to our roles just because I'm born as a female or somebody else was born as a male. And the schools here play a great role in strengthening this thought of an individual. The schools, they have 4 important stakeholders. The management per se, there are parents, there are students, and there are teachers. So when this is the 3rd step, when teachers are skilled or oriented about the kind of materials that they should be using in the classroom while they plan their lessons, it helps. Somewhere or the other, they are definitely aware that my lesson plan or the activity that I have chosen should not be sending a message to any of my students, as I said in the beginning also, who are going to hold this baton and run ahead, should not feel that they have to confine themselves to certain things just because they are born as a man or they are born as a woman. And this is what has been seen and experienced, that when we are aware of our own genders, or we are aware of our own roles, or we are sensitized about our genders, then we create a better environment and we create a better world for the people around us. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Hey everyone, I'm Priyanka Raheja. I'm teaching economics at GD Goenka Public School, Sector 22, Rohini. So when we talk about gender sensitization in schools, nowadays we have many programs for the gender sensitization. But from past 2-3 years, what I'm observing is that number of programs to sensitize regarding this issue are increasing, but we are confined to the binary division of gender. This is something about which I am going to talk today. Generally, if we ask how many genders do we know, the general answer is 2. That is male and female. And this is what we teach. Our textbooks speak about example of Ram and Sham, Sita and Geeta. Fine. But is there any textbook that speaks about the 3rd gender? That is the transgender? No. Even the textbooks which are there, they show male as a hero, like our history textbooks. Their cover page is with a fighter, hero fighter, male, and women is shown as a weaker gender on the cover pages of books as well, even today. In bio, we talk about the reproductive system in women, we talk about organs of female and male, but do we ever talk about transgenders or intersex in our biology book? While I was talking to my students, I came to know that more than 80% of students don't know even what is the difference between being a transgender and being intersex. And this is never taught in our books as well, not in the curriculum. Though we have adopted many modern methods that are giving importance to the issue of gender sensitization in school. For example, recently I was reading an article. A Bangalore-based school has revised the curriculum. Now, their Red Riding Hood does not need the woodcutter to save her. Now she's empowered herself in the story to fight. Johnny, Johnny, yes Papa is now Julie, Julie, yes Mama. So this is how many schools are taking the initiative and bringing in the issue of gender sensitization. But it's sad to know it's only limited to again the binary division, that is male and female. Grey is also important. Being transgender is not a choice, it's a chance. I have created this small video which I will be showing. I think it was clear in the video that there are many cases of bullying, harassment against transgenders in school. Many of them are even not willing to disclose their identity. And many schools are not even giving the option of others in the gender column while the admission form is being filled. I conducted a survey with one of my students, Suti Saria, she is sitting here, and we found that hardly any school in Delhi gives the option of others in the admission form. We talk about rights of girls, that girls should have an equal footing with boys, but are transgender not human beings? Yes or no? They are, but I don't know why schools are not realizing this thing. Though DOE has also launched a program recently in which 1100 schools will be given training for the inclusive education. Inclusive education means education for both girls, boys as well as transgenders. Then there are other programs as well, like a residential school for transgender has been opened in Kochi. Then Lok Sabha also passed a bill regarding the transgender person. Then in August 2014, Delhi University opened its door for transgender, and same was done by Bangalore University as well. But even after taking these initiative, the answer is they are not willing even to tell that they are transgender. Why? Because we are not ready to accept them. The school in Kochi has only 7 takers till now. There is no admission taken in the Bangalore University for the seat reserved under the transgender category. The Delhi University has only 7 takers under this category till date. So where is the lacking? Lacking is from their side or from our side? We need to think. Firstly, we need to understand the difference between a transgender and intersex. Transgender is a person who is born as a male or female, but the gender orientation is that of the opposite sex. Whereas intersex is a person who is born with the ambiguous organ that neither confirm male nor female. But sadly, in our education system, we don't have place for these. They are only known as hijras. This is how we call them. Students bully them, and then they don't feel like coming to school. Even in history, yeah, this is what they are meant. They are meant to be there at the red light, not in the schools. Even history has given a prominent role to the transgenders. Then why not we? I agree that many steps are being taken by many schools and universities to reserve seats and give them special treatment. Even many colleges now have transgender washrooms as well. Same is there in many schools, but not sadly here in India, but abroad. But the point that I want to raise here is just launching scheme, reserving seats will make a difference. Will it? I don't think so. What will make the difference? They don't need protection. They need to be embraced. Firstly, we need to accept them. Firstly, we need to know what their orientation is, which all problems do they face. Firstly, we need to develop a sensitized attitude towards them. Only then they will be ready to come up in front of all of us and be like you all, girls and boys. So we need to develop a sympathetic attitude towards them so that they can say with proud, yes, I am a transgender. Yes, I am like them only. So I think we all should work towards this, and I don't think that launching any scheme will help. What will help is developing a soft corner for them. So are we going to work in this direction? Yeah, and our students are already working in this direction. They have also developed an app. So yeah, so they will be presenting it in one of the entrepreneurship program. Yeah, in which special features are there for transgender section of the society as well. And before I wind up, I would like to share this data which was there in the newspaper yesterday, that this year in class 10th boards from Delhi, 31,14,831 candidates appeared, out of which 18,19,077 were boys and 12,95,754 were girls. So more than 18 lakh boys and around 12 lakh girls. The disparity shows what? That still girls are not at par with boys when it comes to education. Now bringing in the transgender, out of this 31,14,831 candidates, only 28 registered themselves as transgender. Whereas research says that out of every 20 20,000 children born, one is transgender. Then how come out of 13 lakh, more than 13 lakh students who appeared for the exam, only 28 are transgenders? It means still they are not ready to open up. Why? Because we are not ready to accept them. So my motive is just to ignite a small spark in all of you so that we all look them from the same angle as we look at girls and as we look at boys. Thank you.
Next speaker, please come on.
Good morning, ladies and two men. Two men in the audience and technical representative. Unfortunately, many times this kind of discussion about women's rights are between women. But many times we, women, talk also for men. So we are glad that we have two men in the aula, but we would like that our messages to be sent to all men. Women Economic Forum. Do we have a men economic forum? No. Women's rights. Do we have men's rights? So, depends. Many times in history, women are in the same, let's say, cage with elder people or disabled people or children. So women are sent next to the vulnerable people. But I come to ask you, are women vulnerable? Are women so vulnerable? Is a woman who gives birth, a woman who raises a child, a woman who teaches a child how to behave, how to choose a way, a right way in their life, is this kind of woman vulnerable? But a woman, to prove her importance, has to work twice, right? Am I right? Why this? Who's guilty for this situation? Women, men, or society? Or all of us? I'm thinking about stereotypes. For example, I don't know how it's in your society, but in my society, there is a stereotype that women are not so good drivers. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would destroy this stereotype because there are much more many incidents made by men. And a woman is true. A woman is more careful when she's driving. because a woman give life and a woman protect life. That's why when she's driving, she's not thinking only to show to the others that she's the best on the road, but she tries to protect herself, to protect her family who's waiting for her at home, and to protect also the other participants in the traffic, right? Of course, there are many other stereotypes. Why this stereotype of women bad drivers? Probably because the woman dare to invade the man's public space. Let's think a little bit to the children. When somebody is waiting for a child, let's say is preparing the room and the clothes. If she finds out that it's a girl, what kind of clothes she's preparing? Pink. Everywhere is pink, right? Pink or white. And if it's a boy? Blue. So we are in the same way, in the same pattern. But yeah, let's think a little bit. If, let's say, Obama, everybody knows the President Obama. If the President Obama wants to go to meet the President of France, does he wear a pink? Does he wear pink? No. Why? Because it's not a serious color, right? It's a woman color. It's a childish color. So since the beginning, we are put in two categories: pink and blue. Blue, serious; pink, less serious. Moreover, when a little girl, during her childhood, she not only continue to wear pink, but she receives a kind of toys. What kind of toys did you receive when you were little girls? Dolls. What else? What? Teddy bears. What? Kitchen, yes. Okay, what else? So let's take this. Kitchen and what I said? Dolls. Mm-hmm.
Nurse, the boys get the doctors.
Just a moment. First girls.
So the nurse part of the girls.
Okay. So when you receive a kitchen, you receive the message indirectly, that you have to learn to cook. Moreover, you see your mother cooking. This is normal. So you understand that your role in society is to cook, right? This comes naturally. When you receive a doll, you receive a subliminal message that you have to take care of that doll, no? It's a baby. It's like a baby. It's you when you're a little child, little baby, no? So the girls receive this message of care. The care belongs to the girls, so to the women. When you are growing up, you grew up with this message that you have to take care of your brothers, of your family, of your children, of your husband, of course, and later on of the elderly people in the family, who many times become ill when they're getting old, right? So you actually, with that little doll, you receive a lot of responsibilities on your shoulder. Unfortunately, all these responsibilities don't bring you so much money, because it is an unpaid work. It's housework. You have to do this. It's natural, right? So you also receive the message that your place in society is next to the house and next to the family. Let's talk about boys, little boys. Which are the toys they received in the first childhood? Do you remember? Cars. Helicopters.
Power Rangers.
What?
Power Rangers. What we action figures.
Okay, yes. Guns, little guns, right?
Even the sets with experiments, the scientific experiments.
Yes. So you receive the message that your space is a public space, because you have to drive a car, you have to drive a helicopter, you have to know how to fight, you have to discover something in the science. So all these spaces are yours, public space. So since the beginning, since the childhood, we learn to respect some roles, some gender roles. And these gender roles, actually, they are what the society expects, the expectation of the society from us as men or as women. We have to make a difference between sex and gender. Sex is what we receive from the it's natural, biological, from the birth, yes? But gender is a social construct. It's something building in our mentality with the support of the society. And the society, until now, until your generation, until my generation, until our generation, functioned in a patriarchal way, promoting the role of the pater familias. What I don't like is that women accept this role. For too long time, women didn't find the power to fight against this role. Last year, do you know about Me Too?
Yes.
Okay, it's a big step. 2 words and a lot of power raising up from the women side. What is how to say, the roles are the message of accepting or not accepting these roles comes many times from the mothers. That's why you should not be that type of mother you wouldn't like to be. You don't have to accept something just because your mother accepted it, because something was changed in our society. And if you want to change something around you, if you want to receive more respect for you, for family, and for your children, you have to change something. You have the power. It is a saying that according the role of the woman in a society, you can appreciate the level of civilization in that society. When a woman is more respected, it's not something good only for her. It's something good for family, and it's something good for the entire society. That's why I don't understand that those women who still accept female genital mutilation. It's a terrible wound in the women world. If you know, if you remember the trauma of being cut when you are a child, you don't have, for anything in the world, you don't have to accept that you are a girl to be treated in the same way. If you were married when you were a very young girl, at 9 o'clock, at 11 o'clock, you never should accept the same trauma for your little girl. That's why the message is don't try to don't perpetuate, don't behave as your mother if you didn't like something in their behavior. Because you are those who have to make this the next step in your society. So these rows of girls and boys in society are in school. We can find these roles in school. We can find these roles in society. We can find these roles in science, in technology. But we have the power to fight against. I work for the National Agency for Equal Opportunities between Women and Men back in Romania. We are trying to create awareness and also to change something. And to give you a concrete example, we have a program. It's called Justice Has No Gender. It's a project under the umbrella of the European Commission of the European Union. And it is made in cooperation with civil society and institutions. So many times, if you have an idea, if you want to change something, it's good, you have the idea, but you have to find the important actors in society and to bring together synergies from different actors, social actors. So we brought together institutions, schools, and NGOs. And we tried to make first, at the beginning, a pilot program in 2 high schools in the capital. And then we transferred this project in 24 high schools in the entire country. Which is the substance of this project. We spoke to students about gender issues. We trained them. Somebody from the NGOs in dealing with communication trained them in how to manage, how to make a campaign, advocacy campaign and communication campaign. And then the students, by themselves, they began to make their campaign for their colleagues. And then this model was multiplied at the level of the entire country. It's very interesting for us and for them as well how they mobilized their entire energy to bring a lot of very fresh idea in approaching gender equality. So because I see a lot of young people in the aula, my message is, if you don't like what you see around, if you don't like how society treat you, take action. The power is here, girls. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Excuse me, the picture. Yes, you did it. Good, my dad. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. She's also there.
One more time, one more time.
One more.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.